stand-up routine. Well, first, I got to say, David, and I don't really know why I'm on this panel, because I'm not funny like you guys. And I think I've got one little poem in here, and I think it's because we're like friends for 30 years. I feel a little weird because I don't write poems that use humor all that much occasionally, but it's usually unintentional. And these guys up here are really among the best in the country, really. I mean, if you could probably add Billy Collins and Tony Hogan to that, you've got them right there. You've got the guys who do this best. Anyway, maybe I should just say something. David said that I had to kill 15 minutes, and I think I can do that. Something about the way I feel about humor in poetry, and maybe David will say something about this too. I think there's maybe no better way of saying that than to suggest that I think the most important word in this book is in the title, and that's the word seriously. That humor in poetry for me is another tool, like any other literary tool. And the point is not the humor so much, at least I think not, but a way to get to the point. Humor is a way to help us get there, facilitator. I have one little poem in here that goes back 300 years to my first book. It's called Crawling Out at Parties. And I got the idea, the poem's called Crawling Out at Parties, and the book is Shooting Rats at the Bibb County Dump, which is funny enough, but not intentional. I got the notion for this poem and 4 or 5 others in the book, which are like it, from a book I read by a guy named Carl Sagan. Y'all remember Carl Sagan? He's about as scientific as I ever got in my life. What was that thing? Cosmos. Cosmos. Well, he wrote this book called Dragons of Eden, which I was fascinated by when I was a young man. And in this book, he has a section on the evolution of the human brain, in which he explains that the human brain evolved not as one brain, but as 3 brains, and they're still there. Now, I'm not sure I can remember them. The first one is called the old reptile brain. It's a little mass of tissue right at the top of the spine. Then on top of that, which accounts for sex and ritual. And right on top of that is, I think he calls it the limbic brain, the mammal feelings. And on top of that, and huge in proportion, the neocortex, which we once thought distinguished us from the animal kingdom, and now we're finding out that's not quite true, unfortunately. Anyhow, this poem plays on that old reptile brain, and it's called Crawling Out at Parties. My old reptile loves the scotch, the way it drugs the cells that keep him caged in the ancient swamps of the brain. He likes crawling out at parties among tight-skirted girls. He takes the gold glitter of earrings for small yellow birds wading in shallow water, the swish of nylon legs for muskrats in the reeds. But he moves awkwardly in the hardwood forests of early American furniture, stumbles on grassy throw rugs, and the yellow birds flutter toward the foggy horizons of the room. Out of date, he just can't swing, so slides back always to his antique home, the stagnant, sobering water. That's about all I have to offer. You guys are really kind. I don't know if you just think you should get your money's worth. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm going to read one more poem from the book.